They finally dropped it 190 to 197, which is a $40,000 reduction from 2009 to 2010. But that only accounts for a 16% drop since my peak in 2008. And in 2007, home prices dropped 12%. 2008, they dropped 16.5%. And I would like to see that my home be reevaluated for the current price drop. It's not valued at that price for Minnesota. Or for the Twin Cities area.
There's a lot of information in here, but the information that I get from the Minnesota Association of Realtors, give me a second here, is, so these are what they call as traditional home sales. And the traditional home sales from 2006 to 2008 was only a 3.9% decline on the traditional markets. If you throw in foreclosures, that number jumps to 23%. And we are valuing on a traditional market.
Does S&P not have any value? S&P Home Index has no valuation in your assessment?
It is. This is more of a local effort that these numbers are coming from, and we are very close in line to what their evaluation is of a 12.7% decrease in overall valuation, where we're in Plaine, we are sitting at just about 10%.
When was Plaine's peak housing price at?
We are about, we don't track peak housing. Our valuation, or your orange copy there, really reflects sales that took place for our studies the fourth quarter of 2007 and the first 3 quarters of 2008. We're about 2 years behind your assessment date.
Okay.
For payable.
Is it likely, well, like you said, what's the price drop going to be then for 2011 then? If you have,
it's too early to tell.
We don't have any numbers in for that?
I've had several sales come in, and a lot of them are foreclosure sales for this particular assessment cycle. So all indications are, as they were last year, I'm not going to go on record to say that your value is going to decrease, but there are still a lot of foreclosures. And like I said, for this particular cycle, I would agree that the foreclosure market has pushed down values in Plaine.
What if there was a house on my particular lot that was asking price was 142, and there was not a foreclosed property, and it still would not sell?
Yeah, some of those sales, I mean, even though they don't sell them as foreclosed sales, they will say at the bottom that the bank has to approve the sale or the...
This one wasn't the case.
Again, I would be more than happy to take a look at it for you, but from just my experience, if they don't say foreclosure sale, they will say that a bank has to approve any offer given, which is basically a sign that it's a short sale, meaning that the bank is mediating in some way, which is not a traditional sale.
This didn't go into foreclosure until February. Sat on the market a year and a half.
But Mr. Tix, I have no problem taking reevaluating your property.
Okay.
Bottom line.
All right.
You can schedule a meeting.
Sure.
All right. We will accept a motion to Mr. Tix. It's Tix, T-I-A-C-K?
T-I-X.
T-I-X,
Yep.
okay. Reevaluate his property. Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Mr. Tix is on the docket. All right, who's next?
Good evening, and thank you for your time. I have a couple of issues, and one of them is, and I'm not going to get hung up on it, but just listening to the conversations here, there's just something that does confuse me a little bit, and that is that we're talking about the foreclosures and how they're not affecting the true assessed value of these properties as far as what I'm hearing at this meeting. But what really surprises me or confuses me is the fact that I hear assessors that are going out to look at property, and when they do assessment, they do use a foreclosure or values to assess different real estate situations, and they can't either refinance because of the values that are being shown. and it's almost a conflict, one looking at one way and the other looking at the other way. And I'm not here complaining to you. I'm just, as a real estate owner and as a builder, I see a lot of those things, and I'm quite surprised at the different avenues that's happening in that situation. And I feel bad for a lot of people because, as these other gentlemen are talking about, you're just in a real tough situation, and there's not an easy way out of it. And for the county too, it may happen that may have to change to help these values come more accurate. That's all I wanted to say.
Sure.
They have affected the foreclosure market has affected valuation, in my opinion. Not directly, indirectly, it's pushing down. If you're trying to sell your home and you're competing against foreclosure property, it's going to push down your asking price, and as a result, you're going to get less for your home, and then drive down the traditional sales price of homes, which we track. So indirectly, yeah, it does have an effect on it, without a doubt. I'm not going to deny that. But a bank doesn't send an assessor out. They send a for-fee appraiser out,
Right.
which is something different than what we appraise. We appraise through mass appraisal, where they do for-fee, where they're pulling comps. Depending on the scope of work that's given to them, they can, and credit ratings, they're going to go out and appraise it at 75, 80%, 90%. And I have seen them use foreclosure as a basis of comparison, but I don't